Rock Computer College. Define quality training in information technology.
Photoshop is a fantastic tool for photo editing and designing. In this course, we will cover the basics of Photoshop, that includes the interface and working with layers, as well as how to open files. Then we will advance and cover the essential aspects of Photoshop. My name is Anne and I'll be your instructor for this course. Now let's have a look at the Photoshop interface. So we're going to click the Create New button and then this will pop up. Now if your file is going to be printed in its final form, start at print. So I'll come over here, select print. Then you have these documents that you can choose from. So I'll select letter size. Now to my right, I have these preset details telling me the size and the orientation of my document. Now for mine, it's 8.5 by 11 inches. The orientation is portrait. The resolution is at 300 and the color mode is RGB. Now, always work with the resolution that's at least 300 dpi for a good print. And the reason why we're going now, if you click here, you'll see there are lots of other color modes, but we're going to work with RGB color mode. Now, this is because more Photoshop filters are available in RGB mode than any other color mode. So that's why we'll stick with that. Then once we're done, we're going to click Create. Now it will open up into the Photoshop interface. Now this is the page, the document that we just created. Now this is where we're going to make our illustrations. Now to my left, I have the tools panel over here. Now there are tons of tools over here that you have to work with. Now this is the page that we just created. Now to your left, you have the tools panel. Now this tool will come in handy when you're creating or editing your work. So we have different tools over here. Now if you click and hold on one, it will give you its name and the different options that it has. And maybe if you just try and hover your mouse or your cursor over a tool, it will give you a short description of what that tool does and the name. So you can try this on any tool that you have. It will give you a short description of what it does and its name. Then at the top, we have the control panel. Now this helps you to change the settings of your current tool. So maybe we select something like the text tool. Then from here, I can be able to change the font, change the font size, the alignment, and the font color, and so much more. So if I change to another tool, the settings will change. So that's the control panel. Then at the top, very top, we have the menu. Now from here, it gives you the opportunity or the chance to import images. Now at the very top, we have the menu. And from here, now if I go to File and click Open, I can be able to open a new file. So I'll go to where I saved mine. Here it is. Select it, then Open. And it will open in a different page. Now this is an image that I just opened in Photoshop. And you'll see that it will open separately from the one that I created. Then to the right, I have the panel dock. Now here I have different panels that come in handy when you're editing your work. We have the color panels, the swatches panel, gradients, and so much more. Then if you can see at the top over here on this image, it will tell me at what percentage I'm viewing that image at. So currently I'm viewing it at 33.3%. Now if I want to zoom in, all you have to do is press Control plus. That will zoom in, and to zoom out, it's Control minus. So that's how we zoom out. Now currently I'm viewing it at 25% zoom level. Now let me show you how to show and hide any panel. Now if you want to show and hide any panel like the ones we have over here, all you have to do is go to the menu, then select Window. Then these are the panels that we have. Now I want to show certain panels, so what you do is you select them. So I want to show the gradients panel. Here it is. I also want the layers panel. There it is. Another panel, let's say maybe properties, the properties panel, and there it is. And if you've noticed, every time I select one, it will mark itself on. Now once you have your panels like this, you want to place them wherever you want. Now if you want to move a panel, you just click and drag So I'll place this over here. You just click and drag like so. Here's another one. Now this one I'll minimize it. You click and drag. Now as we go on, we will learn how to arrange the panel, how to customize it according to your needs, and how to make certain changes in your toolbar, in your tools panel. Now, if you messed up your panel dock and you want to reset it, all you have to do is come to Windows, then Workspace, then Reset Essentials, and it will reset the essentials for you. Now, these are the essential panels that you need when you're creating or editing a picture, an image, or a file. Maybe you're working on something. We have the layers panel, channel, paths panel. These are the essential panels that you will be working with. Now, that's all you need to know about the Photoshop workspace. Now let's have a look at some basic tools that we have in Photoshop. Now the first category that you're going to learn is the navigation tools. And in here we have the zoom tool and the hand tool. Now the zoom tool will allow you to have a closer look at your work or at your picture. Now to do that, you just come to the tools panel, select the zoom tool, then you click on it to zoom out. Now over here we have two icons. We have the plus icons and the minus icon. Now this plus icon will zoom in your work, and this minus icon will zoom out. Now if you don't want to use these two icons, what you can do is come over here and turn on the scrubby zoom command. Now what this does, I'll select this one. If I scrub across the page, it will zoom in. If I scrub the opposite way, it will zoom out. So going this way, I'm zooming in. Going this way, I'm zooming out. But I prefer to use these two over here. Makes work way easier. Now then, the hand tool, it helps you to move the page around. Now let's say come back to the zoom tool and let's just zoom in. Okay, now I want to access the photo at the top. This is where the hand tool comes in. So I'll select the hand tool, then just click and drag my page until I get to that picture over here. Now here it is. That's how you use the hand tool. Now I'll zoom out. Now another shortcut to zooming out is Control minus. If you want to zoom out using your keyboard, you just use the Control minus key and it will zoom out. Control plus to zoom in. Now that's how you use the hand tool. Then another shortcut of using the hand tool, instead of coming all the way to the tools panel and selecting the hand tool, you can just press on your space bar and your cursor will temporarily turn into a hand tool. Now from here you can click and drag your page around to make all the edits that you want. And remember, as soon as you release the space bar, it will turn back to its original form. Now those are the two navigation tools that you have. In Photoshop, saving works a bit different from other options. Now, instead of working with one file type like MS Word, it offers a variety of ways to save your document. Now, when saving a file in Photoshop, you have several options and file formats to choose from. Over here, I have this image that we're going to use as our example. And the first file format is PSD. Now, this is the default file type for Photoshop documents. PSD files are designed to be opened in Photoshop, so if you want to share the image with others, you'll also need to save a copy of the image in a common file format like JPEG. Now, the good thing with PSD is that it allows you to re-edit your work later. Once you save it, you can come back to it and re-edit it later. And then we have the common file formats. Those are like JPEG and PNG. Now, these file formats can be viewed and edited on almost any computer or on mobile device, which makes them well suited for sharing with others. Now, unlike PSD files, these formats aren't as useful if you plan to continue editing the file later on, and they also can't preserve layer information. Now, if you want to save for the first time, you'll use the Save As command. What you do is you select File from the menu, then you'll have this Save As command. Now, this is when you're saving for the first time. Then click on this command, select save on your computer. Now this will pop up. Give it a file name, so I can call it kites. Then save as type. Now here is where we'll get the file formats. As you can see, we have lots of file formats. We have the PSD format, we have the JPEG, we have the PNG. You have all these file formats to choose from. Now if you select PSD option, make sure the layers command is checked so that you can save it with the layers information. Then click save, click OK, and your image will be saved as a PNG. Now if you want to save it as a JPEG again, you just come to the menu, select file, click save as, save on your computer. Then from here I can choose another format that I want. Let's say I want to work with the JPEG, so I'll save it as a JPEG, then click save, and now I've saved it again as a JPEG. Now I can make my edits from over here, but I like it as it is. I'll leave it at that and click OK. So you can save one image in lots of file formats if you want. That's all you need to know about saving images in Photoshop. Now in the last tutorial we talked about some navigation tools here in Photoshop, and today we're going to look at selection tools in Photoshop. And the first one is the move tool. Now that's the one I've been using. This is the move tool, and to use the move tool, you just click on something and move it. Now I can click on this image and move it around. Move same with this one, like you just click on it and you move it. Now this is made possible by the controls over here. Now if you can look at the control panel, we have the auto select command and it's on. Now if I turn that off, I can select I can't move an image. Now let's try moving this one. I can't move this image without having selected it from over here first. So I have to select that layer, then I'll be able to move the image. Likewise with this one, I have to select the layer first, then I'll be able to move it. But if you don't want to have that setting to work that way, you can just come up here to the control panel and turn the auto select command on. Now you can just auto select from here without having to go to the layers panel to check or to select a certain image or layer. Now I want to select this background, but I can't. This is because it is locked. Now to unlock it, you just press on this icon, and now it's a layer. It's a normal layer like the others. Now I can move it around. As you can see, I can move it around as well as the other layers, and I can select it. Likewise to this image I have over here, I can't move it around, and this is because it's a background layer and it's locked. I have to convert it into a normal layer to be able to move it around or change its stacking order or blending mode or the opacity, as you can see from over here. So I'll click on convert to normal layer, and then it will be converted to a normal layer. Now from here I'll be able to move it around and make all the changes I want to it. Now it's hard to tell when I've clicked on an object whether it's on. Now if you want to know that you have, like, to show that you have selected an item, you can come back to the control panel and turn this show transform controls command on. Now if I turn that on, if I select this image, it will show that the transform controls will turn on, and they'll show me that I've selected that layer. If I select another layer, these controls will show me that I selected that current layer. Now if you want to turn it off, you just come back over here and uncheck that box, and there they go. Now the next type of selection tools are the marquee selection tools. Here they are. Now we have 4 of them. We have the rectangular one, the elliptical one, single row, and single column. Now to select something with one of these, all you need to do is click and drag. Now I'll select the first one. Just click and drag, and you'll have selected something. Now you can copy and paste it or do whatever you want to do it. And if you want to deselect a certain selection that you made, all you have to do is press Ctrl D on your PC, and you'll have deselected your selection. Then we have the ellipses. If I come back over here again, we have the elliptical marquee tool. If I select that, if I drag it out, it will form an ellipsis. But if I want it to be a perfect circle, you just hold down the shift key, and then as you can see, it will form a perfect circle for you. And you I can hit the space bar and move it wherever I want. Here you go. So let's say I want to place it over there, and that is by selection. Again, if you want to deselect that selection, all you have to do is press Ctrl D and it will deselect. Then we have the lasso tools. Now this is very easy. You just click anywhere you want to make the selection, and then you just click all the way. If I want to make a selection of this corner of the box, all I have to do is click all the way around it until I get the whole box covered like that, and then go back to where you started. And that's how you make a selection using the lasso tool. And let's say you click the wrong place, so let me make another selection. Then say I clicked the wrong place and I want to go back. All you have to do is press the delete key on your keyboard, and it will take you a step back, and then you can continue with your selection. Again, if you made the wrong selection, let's say I made the wrong selection, instead of going straight, all you have to do is press the delete key on your keyboard, and then it will take you a step back. And now you can continue with your selection, then go all the way to the beginning, and then it will close off that selection for you. To deselect, Ctrl D, and it's that easy. Then we have the quick selection tool over here. We have these three. We have the object selection tool, quick selection tool, and the magic wand tool. Now the most important one here is the quick selection tool. Now let me show you how that works. If I select that, okay, I'll come back over here and select the quick selection tool. Now the quick selection tool will automatically select the edges of your image. Now let's say I want to select the cake. All I have to do is just click and it will automatically select the cake for me. It makes selecting things in Photoshop way easier. Like that. I'll just add in the flowers, a bit of cake over here. Perfect, and it made a perfect selection for me. Now if I wanted, I can copy and paste it, or I can do whatever I wanted with that layer. Maybe put it on a new layer. But this is a pretty cool tool to use. It will make selecting objects in Photoshop very easier. Now let's have a look at working with layers. Now this is the layers panel, and as you can see, I've added some pictures in this file, and here they are in my layers panel. Now if you can't find your layers panel, just come to the menu, then window, then check it, make sure it's checked, and then you'll get your layers panel. So the first thing I want to show you how to do is to create a blank layer. So if you want to create a blank layer, just click on this plus icon that's down here, and a blank layer will be created. Now anytime you click on a new layer, it will place the layer above the previous layer. Now let's say let me pick this image over here, then I click on this icon, the plus. You'll see the new layer will come above that previous layer. So that's how it works. That's how you add a blank layer into your layers panel. Now if you want to delete a layer, just right click on it, then go to delete layer, and that layer will be deleted. Click yes, and that layer will be deleted. Another way of doing that is you can drag your layer, the layer that you want to delete, and place it in this trash can, and that layer will be deleted. Or another way is that you select the layer, then click on the trash can icon, click yes, and that layer will be deleted. Now those are the three ways you have of deleting a layer. Now it's really important to label your layers, since a project can end up with hundreds of layers in them. Now to do that, just double click on the layer's name. So I'll double click here, then go ahead and name it. So first I'll select this. I want to see what. Okay, these are the kittens. So I'll double click on that, then label it. kitchens. Let's go to the other one. So I'm just going to go through with all these and label them appropriately. Now this is a goldfish. Now what I'm doing by doing this, I'm turning off and turning on the layers. Now this is a way you can hide and show your layers. So I've hidden that one. You can hide and show it. You can choose what to hide and what to leave on. So that's what I'm doing to identify what layer I'm working on. So it's another goldfish. Now another thing, once you're done typing in the letter, I forgot to tell you, you press enter and now the name will have changed. So now that is how you rename, that's how you label your layers. That makes it easy for you to know which one you're working on. Now if I select this one, I know I'm working on a goldfish, I'm working with dogs, you know, that's how you label your layers. Another way you can choose is to color code them. You can color code your layers, so that will make it easier to know which layers you're working with. Now to do that, just right click on the layer you want to color code, then come all the way down here and select red. And as you can see, we've color coded that with a red color. Now I'll come to the other layer with cats, right click and make it red. Now I know that the layers with red are cats, that are the layers with cats on. So anytime I want to make an edit or add something to that layer, I'll just look for the ones with a red color code on them. So that's how you label, that's another way of labeling your layers. The next thing we're going to look at is how to reorder our layers. Now it's very easy to reorder your layers. Say now you see our first layer over here, these are the kitchen, and then the cats are way down here, and I want to place them together. All you have to do is click and drag them until you see those two blue lines over there, then release it. Now that's how you rearrange your layers. Now let's say this goldfish layer was all the way down here and you wanted to bring the goldfish again all the way down here. All you have to do is select that layer, then click and drag it all the way until you see those two lines, release it, and that's how you rearrange or reorder layers in Photoshop. Now another thing you can do in Photoshop is to link layers. So all you have to do is select the first layer. I want to link these two layers. So first I'll select the first layer, hold on the shift key, select the second layer, and come down here and click on this link icon. Now I've linked these two icons, these two layers. Now this is the first one and this is the second one. Now I'll be working with them as a group. As you can see, if I move this one, the other one will move. If I resize it, if I decide to resize it, I'll resize them as a group. Whatever changes I make to one will affect both. So that's how you link layers. If you want to unlink them, it's very easy. You select them. First select the first one, hold on the shift key, select the other one, then click on this icon, and now they're individual. Okay, yeah, now they're individual layers. So that's another thing. The next thing we're going to look at is how to duplicate a layer. Now let's say I want to duplicate this layer. What you do is you come to where that layer is, right click, then select duplicate layer, then click OK, and a new duplicate will be there. Never hide the original one. There is the duplicate. So let me move it over here, show the other one. As you can see, now I have two of these layers. I have two of these photos. Now that's how you duplicate a layer in Photoshop. Again, to delete it, so I want to delete this, I'll just click on this and drag it all the way here, and that's how you delete a layer. Now that's all you need to know. That's the basic part of working with layers. Now the advanced, we're going to learn how to use adjustment modes on layers and how to do different things with layers. In Photoshop, we have this amazing feature called the content aware tool, and thing is, it's not in the toolbar. Now I'll show you where it is and how to use it. Now you see this person in this image. I want to remove them from this image. Now what you're going to do is pick the lasso tool, come and select this person around here. Just go all around her. It's her. Yeah, it's her. Like that. Then back. Then come to edit. At our menu here, come to edit. Then content aware fill. Now let's see what it will do. Now it's going to mask out this person from my image. As you can see from the preview, it will remove this person from this image. Now once I like the selection, I'll just click OK. And this is my final product. Now Control D to deselect, and as you can see, that's how you remove someone in a photo using the content aware tool. And yes, it can work on multiples. Now I have this image with 3 people on them. Now I want to remove all of them. So all I have to do is pick that lasso tool again, come and just go all around them. So I'll just select all of them at once. But let's say I can't select them all at once. What I can do is first select this one. So I'm first selecting these two. Delete will take you a step back. Come here. Hold down the shift key. Make another selection over here. Now holding down the shift key will add to the first selection. So right now I'm holding down the shift key as I make this other selection over here. It doesn't have to be perfect. Then we're done. Then come to edit again, content aware fill. Now let's look at our preview. Now these are the people we have, and this is our preview. It will have masked them out. Now that's what the content aware fill tool does. It removes parts of an image that you don't want from your image. I'll click OK, and that's my final copy. Control D to deselect, and there I have an image without people in it. Now that's a pretty cool tool to use in Photoshop. Now let's look at the brush tool, and you can find the brush tool in the toolbar. Now this is the brush tool, but you have other tools that tend to mimic that kind of tend to look like a brush tool, but you're not going to use them. We're going to use this plain brush tool. Now this is the one we're learning about today. So I'll just select that, and once you select it, you'll see the size of your brush. Now it will show you a circle on your screen, and you can make this bigger or smaller by using the bracket keys on your keyboard. Now the right bracket will make it larger, and the left bracket will make it smaller. Now sometimes you'll get your brush and it will look something like this. It will be a crosshair, then it doesn't matter how big or small you try to make your brush, all you see is this. Now this is called a precise cursor, and if you don't like it, all you need to do is hit the caps lock key and it will go back to the other brush style. Now to select a brush, you're going to go over here, then click on this drop down arrow. Then you're going to notice that we have folders. We have a bunch of different folders with different brushes. Now for now we're going to talk about the general brushes, and we're going to focus on these two. We have the soft round brush and we have the hard round brush. Now I'll select the soft round brush. Now it is consistent in size, as you can see, and the edges are a bit fuzzy. That's the soft round brush. Now if I go and pick up the hard round brush, come out and draw with it as well, the size is consistent but the edges are fuzzy, as you can see. Now that's the difference between the soft round brush and the hard round brush. If I come back over here again, you can see that we have these two options, the size option and the hardness option. Now you can manipulate the size of your brush from over here, make it larger or make it smaller. So that's another way of changing the size, and as well as the hardness. Now when we draw, you can see the edges are hard, but if I come here and tone it down a bit, let's say take it all the way to 0, and if I draw out again, you can see the edges are now fuzzy. So just come back here and put it back to 100, because, well, it's the hard round brush. You can see that's the difference between the hard round brush and the soft round brush. Now if you want to switch colors, you're going to click the foreground color over here, select the color from the hue picker. Let's say I'll go with this one, then select the color from here, color tone, and then click OK. Come out and draw with it. Now that's how you use a brush. I can switch to another color by clicking here again and selecting another color. Okay. And just paint on. I'll make this a bit bigger. We're just painting. Come back again. Maybe choose another color. Red. Okay. Like that. Now let's say I want to go back to using this color, but I don't want to come all the way over here and start looking for this color shade that I just picked. So all I have to do is come over here and pick the eyedropper tool. Select the color that I want to go back to. So I'll select this one, then come back to my brush and continue using it. Again, now let's say I want to go back to the red color that I was using, and I want to come over here and start looking for the exact shade that I was using before, and currently I'm on blue. What I'll do is I'll come and take the eyedropper tool, come and pick this color, then back to the brush tool and continue drawing. Now let's delete this layer. Now we're left with it as this. Now as you can see, I cannot use my brush on this image. This is because it's a smart object. It has this icon that shows that it's a smart object. Now if I want to make edits of it I have to rasterize it before proceeding. I'll just click OK, and then I'll rasterize it, and now I can use the brush tool on this image. So I'll come and paint it wherever I want. I'm not making it perfect because this is just for show, for the lesson. Again, come here, change the color, click OK. You'll adjust it accordingly. Now this is not the color I wanted to go with. I wanted to go with this one. Okay. Yes. Now you can draw, you can color in perfectly. Now we have an eraser tool. We have an eraser tool in Photoshop, and here it is. And you can use it to erase your edits. Now the same as the brush tool, the right bracket will make it larger, the left bracket will make it smaller, and then you can come and erase your work. Now the bad thing with using the eraser tool in Photoshop is that it's very distracting. And if you're a professional, or if you are really good at Photoshop, you'll know that professionals do not use erasers. Professionals use layer mask, and the reason for that is because it's non-destructive. Now once I've erased, I've done something destructive. As you can see, I'm even erasing the drawing itself. Now this is destroying the base layer, and that's why we avoid using the eraser tool in Photoshop. But if I use a layer mask instead, it's not permanent, and I can undo it at a later date. Now in this lesson, we're going to look at working with text in Photoshop. And the first thing we're going to do is to locate the text tool. Now this is the text tool over here. You just click on it to pick it, and then you come anywhere in here. Now there are two ways of using this. One, you can click on your page or your image, and then the text will appear, and then you can go ahead and write whatever you wanted to write. Now this is some text that I had copied earlier that I just pasted. So that is one way of using the text tool. The other one is coming back to the text tool. So come back to the text tool and then clicking and dragging out on part of your page, and then this text will appear, and then you can come and type in whatever you want. So let me type be happy. So yeah, those are the two ways you can use the text tool. Now another way, if I come back here now, as you can see, I've added some text. That's how you add text on your image. Now after I've added text, let's say I want to change the font color, the font size. All I have to do is come back to that layer. Now whenever you add text, it will come on its own layer, and it's good to use separate layers for your text so that you can modify them separately. Now let's say if I had this all together, this text and this text over here in one layer, I can't modify them separately. That it would be a bit hard, it would be tedious to modify them separately. But now that I have them on two different layers, it will make my work way easier, because all I have to do is come to this layer, double click on it to activate the text tool, and now that it's highlighted, I can come over here now to the control panel. Now over here you can select the font that you want to use. You can change the font from over here, so you can select another one. Let's say I go with this one. Then you can select the font size from here, or you can just come in here and just type in the font size you want to work with. Let's say 100, then click enter, and it will update the font size for you. So let's move that a little bit, but I want it a bit smaller, so I'll take it back to 72. Then here you can change the alignment, and from here you can change the font color. So I'll come and pick a different color. Now that looks good. Click OK, and that's how you click this icon over here, and then the changes will be admitted to your text. Now let's say now my text looks a bit small and I want to elongate it. So all I have to do is on that layer, I press Ctrl T to show the transform controls. Then I can drag this out to make it a bit larger. That's way too much. And if you don't want to have this mess, like you're pulling on one corner and then it all goes out on you, you hold down the shift key and then you pull on one end. But if I release the shift key and then do this, as you can see, it will elongate the whole text, and I just want it to be maybe, let's say, stretched upwards, like a bit longer. So you hold down the shift key and then it will only affect that side that you're working on. Oh yeah, so that's it. That's how you add text to your image in Photoshop. Now I'll come to this layer again, double click over here to activate the text tool, then come and change the font. Select this one. I'm not creative with fonts. Come here, I'm okay with the font size, and if I'm not okay, I'll just come back here again and type in the font size that I want. Let's say I want 100, click enter, and it will change automatically from over here. Come and select a different font color. Okay, click OK, and there we have our new font color. And I'll click here, and there it is. Now to move text, it's just easy. As long as you're on the move tool, you just come to where the text is. Now as you can see on my control panel, I have auto select on. That means I can come on this image without having to go to the layers and just click and drag any layer that I want. I don't have to come over here and select it first. But if I turn that off, I'll have to first select that layer, then come and drag it and place it wherever I want to. I can place it all the way up here, down here maybe. You just decide. It depends on the project you're working on. But that's how we add text to Photoshop, and that's how we change the font size and the font color, along with other things that we're going to learn throughout the lesson, through the tutorial as we go on. Now, in our last lesson, I did say that professionals do not use erasers to erase your work in Photoshop. We use layer mask, and this is because it's a non-destructive way of working in Photoshop. It's a non-destructive way of editing your image. Now, layer masks are essentially a way of removing or erasing something from a document, but not permanently and not destructively. And we can always bring it back later if we change our minds. That's why it is so much better than erasing. Now, to add a layer mask on your image, with that layer selected, you'll click on this icon over here, and this little white box will appear. Now, this is the layer mask. Now, to activate it, just click on it. Then we can come and pick the brush tool. On black, we will erase. Now, if you paint with black, you're erasing like that. Now, if I decide that I did make a mistake and I want to turn it back again, like to restore it, I can just come here, switch the colors, and restore it like that. Now, white will restore while black will erase your image. Then I can do that, and that image will be restored. So it's a smart way to erase, and this is because when you close your file and open it again later on and then realize you erased something or masked something that you didn't want to mask, you can just use the white color to bring everything back and have your image back. Another Photoshop mask that's really useful for design is called a clipping mask. Now let me show you how it works. So over here I have this image and I want it to kind of like stick on the edges of this photo, but not on the whole page. I just want it on this image, these heart illustrations. So what I'll do is I'll come to where it is, turn it on, then select it, right click and click on the create clipping mask command, and then it will kind of tape itself around that image. Now the good thing with this is that you can come here with this layer selected and kind of move it around to see where you want it to fit. Or I can come to the layer with the image and move the image around and kind of position the background well. So that's how you use a clipping mask. I have this text over here, and I also have this image that I want to kind of tape around that text. So this is the text, this is the text, and this is that layer with the image. So I'll select that layer, right click and click on create clipping mask, and as you can see it will kind of tape itself around that image. Now I can move that image around to adjust it, or I can come to the text layer and move the text around until I find the right adjustment. Let's say place it over here. And this is a good way of masking things because it's non-destructive. That means I can come later on and make changes. I can come over here. Let's go back to the first one. So let's say now I use this one, but now I changed my mind. I want to use this image instead. What I can do is I can come back here, right click and select release clipping mask. Now once I do that, if I turn this off, you see it hasn't damaged my image. As you can see, it's still the way it was before. Then I'll move this down over here, right click and say create clipping mask, and now you've changed the clipping mask you're using. Adjust it to how you want it, and there you have it. Now this is a completely non-destructive way of working, and once you find the place you like, you can select both layers, this one holding down the shift button and this one, then you can mix them and you can move them together as a group. In this video, I'll show you how to crop and straighten an image in Photoshop. Now first, if you want to open an image, any image in Photoshop, you'll come to File, then select Open. Then from your file, select the image that you want to open, click Open, and then you'll have your image in Photoshop. Now this is the image that I'm working with today, and I want to crop out some areas. So I'll come over here and select the crop tool, and as you can see, it will show the edges, the cropping edges around my image, the cropping handles around the edges, that is. Then you can click and drag to crop out the areas that you don't want in your image. You can add to that selection or delete to it. You can even move the image around. Now if you look over here, there are different modes that you can select to work with, but mine is set on original ratio. That means no matter how much I crop out the image, the relationship between the height and the width of that image will remain the same. Then let's say my image is a bit slanted. If I want to straighten it, I'll just come and select this command, straighten, then click and drag in a straight line. Make sure it's a straight line. And then release it, and then your image will be straightened up for you. Now once you're done cropping, you can have this command on or off. Now if you want to lose the cropped out areas, you can turn it on, but if you want to keep the cropped out pixels, you can turn that off. Now I'll turn that off because with it off, I can come back and make some changes to my image later on. Let's say I want to add to that crop to that image from the cropped areas, so I'll leave mine that way. Then once you're done, click on this icon and your image is cropped. Okay, now let's improve the lighting and the color of this image. Now we're going to use adjustment layers to do that, and to access them, you'll come over here, click on this icon, then select brightness or contrast, and then this dialog box will pop up. Now you can adjust the brightness and contrast from over here by clicking and dragging on these sliders, or you can click auto and have Photoshop do the work for you. And as you can see, it has made its own adjustment. Now if you turn that off, you can see the before and after. So this is the before and this is the after. You can see the effect that it has. Another thing, now once you're done, you close that. Another thing is that you can play with the color, the hue and saturation of the image. So I'll come and select hue and saturation from over here. Again, you'll come to this icon, click on it, then hue and saturation. Then click and drag these sliders, the saturation slider, to add a bit of pop into those colors. You can play with this around. Now let's look at before and after. Again, before and after, and it looks good. So once you're done, you can close that. Now let's say like these colors are way too, these leaves are way too green and you want to tone that down. You can still come, as you can see, the adjustment panels. Let's say like that, as you can see, some of the colors are too bright than the others. Like this green over here is too bright than the rest of the green over here. You can come and select the layer mask. Now each adjustment layer comes with its own layer mask. You will select that layer mask, make sure it's activated, then come here, select the brush tool, and make sure that your foreground color is black. Now black will hide and white will reveal. Now you want to hide that color, so I'll increase the size of the brush and come and brush around here like that. You can reduce the size of the brush as you go. and that looks good. Now as you can see, it's a bit more realistic than it was before. And there we have it. Now that's how you adjust the colors and the lighting in your image. Now if you turn this off, let's go back to the move tool. So if I come here and turn this off and turn this off, now this is our original image before we change the brightness settings, and that's after we change the brightness setting. And then this is after we changed the colors, that after we changed the hue and saturation settings. And you can see it looks way much better now than in the beginning. That is the purpose of the adjustment layers. So that is the purpose of adjustment layers in Photoshop. Now in this lesson, we're going to learn the use of two tools, that is the spot healing brush and the patch tool. Now let's first look at the spot healing brush. You can use that tool to get rid of unwanted things on your image. Now let's say for example, I have this image, I want to remove these balloons over here, the white balloons in my image. I'll use the spot healing brush. And a clever way of using that is by using a new layer. So I'll come here and add a new layer. Then I'll do the adjustment on this layer so that I won't destroy the original layer. So I've added a new layer. I'll come back here, select the spot healing brush, then come and adjust the size. Now if it's too big, you're going to decrease the size and then just click on it. Now as you can see, if I click on it, nothing is happening. As you can see, that's because at the top over here, I'm supposed to select sample all layers. So I'll select that. Now the brush will sample everything under that layer that I've selected. That means it will make the edits to this one, but it won't destroy it. So I'll come back here again and click on it. And as you can see, it's removed the balloon for me. I'll go ahead and remove some of this down here. You can reduce the size as you go. And this is a really quick, easy way of removing things from your image. And it's pretty fun too. So you can see I've removed all the balloons that were around here. And there we have it. Now that's one view of hiding unwanted things. The other way is by using a patch tool. So let's say I want to hide these rocks that are on this ground. So first I'll unlock this layer, then again I want to work on a new layer so that I won't destroy it. Now if you come back here again, if I turn this off, my original layer remains the same. I did not destroy it. So I'll just turn this on, and as you can see, the edits are on this new layer. That's why we're using a new layer. So I'll come back to this one. I've already added a new layer. Come back over here. So I right click and select the patch tool. Now once you select the patch tool, come over here, make sure it's on content aware, then sample all layers. Make sure you sample all layers, then come over here and just click and draw around. Okay, so just draw around the area that you want to remove, then just click and drag. And as you can see, that's how you remove it. Then Control D to deselect. Come here again, draw around the object that you want to remove, then click that selection and drag it somewhere where you want to replace the object with. So I'll replace it with that. The selection is made, then Control D to deselect. Again, this one over here, then click and drag. As you can see, that's another way of removing unwanted things from your image. You have this one over here. Doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. Control D to deselect, and we've removed those patches, those white patches that we had on our grass. And the reason why we work on a new layer so that we do not destroy our original layer. If I turn this off, my original layer is still intact. It's not been changed, but the changes have been made on this new layer. Now let's look at adding creative effects to your image in Photoshop. But first, you're going to convert these layers into a smart filter layer. So what you do is you select the first one, then hold on the shift key, then select the last layer, and then they'll all be highlighted. Then come to filter, then convert for smart filters. Click OK, and they'll be converted into one layer with the smart filter. Now if later on you want to break them down again to the original layers, you can just double click on the thumbnail and they will convert back into the original layers. So let me turn them back into smart filter. Now it's filter, then convert for smart filters. Okay, there we have it. Now the first thing we're going to do is add a tilt shift blur filter. Now to do this, come under filter, blur gallery, then tilt shift. Now this will blur out some part of your of the areas in your image and then have other parts of the image in focus. Now you can see the upper and the lower parts are blurred, but the middle part is in focus. Now you can click and drag this part to select the part that you want in focus and the part that you want blurred. You can also click and drag the dashed line to increase the blurred areas, or to reduce them like that. You can also click the straight line to increase on the areas that are not blurred. That lower this a bit. You can also change the strength of the blur by clicking and dragging this icon here on this slider. Now by doing that, I've added to the strength of the blur. You can also reduce it. Even as well as the distortion. You can just play around with this setting and see what works for you and your image. That's okay. Then once you're done, you click OK, and the changes will be made in your image. As you can see here, we have the filters. Now you can come and choose to turn them off. You want to just kind of see the effect that it had. You can come and double click here again to turn this back on, the blur tool, then make your adjustments again. Let's see what add a bit more to the blur. Then once you're done, click OK, and then the changes will be made to your image. Now another thing that you can do with your image is that you can turn it into a black and white image. Now as you can see, it's a colored image, but I can turn it into a black and white image, and it's very simple. All you have to do is come here, then select black and white, and then your image will be converted into a black and white image. Then over here you have these controls. Now if you had any reds in this image, you can make them lighter or make them darker. If you had yellows, you can make them lighter or darker. Same with all these other colors. We had greens, you can make them lighter or darker. Depends on what you want and how you want your image to be. Then once you're done with your settings, you close this panel over here, and then as you can see now, my image is in black and white. Now another thing that you can do is add color tints to your image, and it's by clicking on this icon over here. So I'll turn that on, and it's added a color tint to my image, and then you can choose the color of tint you want. So I can come here, click on that, then select the color that I want from over here. Let's say I want a blue, then come and choose the shade of blue that I want to work with. Click OK. Then as you can see, now I have a bluish kind of tint on my image. Now, there's a lot of things that you can do with your image apart from those, and as we go on, you will discover more and learn more. But for now, let's focus on those and practice with those 4 things that we've learned. Here's a quick way to remove text or logos on any objects. I want to remove this text. All I have to do is come over here, select the patch tool, draw around the text or logo that you want to remove, and just click and drag like that. Release to make the selection, then Control D to deselect. In this lesson, I'll show you how to do a double exposure effect on an image using these two images, and it's pretty simple. Now I'll turn this back on, then select come to the blending modes. We're going to work with blending modes in this lesson, so I'll select a lightening blending mode, so you can use one from this group. Now this will lighten it's a lighten blending mode, so I'll select either lighten or screen. So you select which one you want. Lighting is working very well for me, so I'll select that. Then I'll add a layer mask to this layer. With it selected, come and select the brush tool. And now I want to reveal some parts of this image, so make sure your foreground is black. So I'll press X on the keyboard to change it to black, and come here and kind of bring out the face a little bit. I want to hide the whole of the face. And as you can see up here, my opacity is at 50, so I'll work with the opacity at 50. I don't want you to hide the effect completely, but I want you to kind of blend with the face, but have the face showing a little bit. So just come here and brush a little bit over the face like that. Now as you can see, it has this cool effect on the face. You can still see the scene from behind, but it's not that shouting. Now that's how you create a double exposure effect in Photoshop in just 1 minute. And you can come here and hide some of the details. So I'll set the foreground up to black again, and just hide some of these parts over here. And leave it at that. So find your image, and there you have it. You have this cool double exposure effect, and it just took you 1 minute to do it. How cool is that? Now in this lesson, we're going to look at how to blur a background in Photoshop. Now I'm going to blur this background in Photoshop, and I'm using this image. Now to do that, first we'll make a copy of this layer. We'll make 2 copies. So you just press Ctrl with that layer selected, press Ctrl J twice, and then you have 2 copies. So this is the first copy, this is the second copy. Now I'll hide the background and the background copy, the second one. So with this layer selected, I'm going to come over here and select that is the quick selection tool. Then click on select subject and let Photoshop select the image for me. I want to select the image of the girl. So just wait for Photoshop to do it, and as you can see, it has made a perfect selection for me. Then I'll click on select and mask. Now over here at output, I will select new layer with layer mask, then click OK. Now I have a new layer with the layer mask, and the only image that I have is that of the cow. Now I'll turn this off and turn the other layer back on. Now on this layer, I'll come and select the lasso tool and just select the girl. You don't have to have a perfect selection. So I'll select the girl, then come under edit, click on. Now as you can see, if I come here, the fill command is not activated. This is because I'm still on this layer, so I have to select this layer first to activate it, then come again under edit, click on fill, then make sure it's under content aware, and click OK, and let Photoshop remove that image for you. So you'll give it some time, and And there we have it now, Control D to deselect, and then I'll come to filter, select blur, then lens blur. Now I'll take the radius up to 100, then make sure that the threshold is at 255, then click OK. And then I'll turn this image, and as you can see now that my background is blurred, but it's not that perfect. So I'll go and select this layer, come in the adjustment layers, then color lookup, select the color lookup command. Then I'll come here and select this one, and it will enhance the look of my image, and now it looks better. So I'll close that. Now this is before I added the color lookup effect, and this is after I've added it, and it looks good. Now that's how you blur a background on any image in Photoshop. Today I'm going to show you how to create a cool text effect in Photoshop. Now we have this banana image. I'll take the type tool and type banana. Reduce the font. Right click and convert to smart object. Then press Ctrl T. So I'll select the move tool, press Ctrl T, right click, warp, then adjust accordingly. Bring this layer to the top. Make a duplicate by pressing Ctrl J. Then right click on this lower layer, create clipping mask like that. You hide this, you can see that you've created a clipping mask. Show this again, select this top layer, add the layer mask, then press Ctrl I to invert it. Now with that layer mask selected, take the brush tool, make sure your foreground color is white, then take the hardness up to 100 and adjust the size accordingly. Then come here and just brush. And there we have it, a really cool text effect in Photoshop. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to make eyes pop in Photoshop. Now we're going to first start by unlocking this layer, then making a copy of it by pressing Ctrl J. Then with this layer selected, I'll change the blending mode to soft light. Then add a layer mask to it and invert it by pressing Ctrl I. Then I'll pick the brush tool. Then come here and, oh, I forgot to make sure the foreground color is white. Then come here and paint over the eye like that. Now if you look the before and after, the eyes have a certain kind of pop to it, but you can still do more with the eye. Again, I'll make a copy of this layer, so Ctrl J again, and then in this copy I'll come here and change the blending mode to multiply. Now I want to darken the outer sides of the eye, so with that I'll come select the layer mask again, select the brush tool, and this time make sure the foreground is black and kind of lighten only the inner parts of the eye. Now let's see the effect that has. So I'll hold down Alt and press on this to see before and after. As you can see, it's much more vibrant than it was before. That's how you make eyes pop in Photoshop.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. as you fade away. As you fade away. Told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I love